Hi beautiful shining stars. So today we're going to work inside of our life book. So I want you to gather your life book, okay? And I want you to just open it to a random page with nothing on it. Oops, mine is upside down. Just a blank page. You are not going to add a date. You're not going to add any where you are. You're just going to write about your ideal future as if it has already occurred. Now, like I said, you have to be very careful because this book is very powerful, very potent, and everything you write in it comes true. So you want to make sure that what you add to the book is something that you love, that you want, that is part of your everything, and that you're going to put your allness towards it. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I mean. So I wrote about how I wanted to take my life into the next level, right? Manifesting wise, co-creating specific wealth. There's parties that I want to do for my granddaughters because they're coming of age. I want to have college funds for them. So I'm thinking beyond the perspective of the now, right? Beyond the bills that I am responsible for, beyond everything. I'm not looking at what's going on around me, right? Because what's happening right now, and this is really important, when you grasp this, when you acknowledge this that I'm sharing with you here, everything that's happening to you now, it is not part of now. It is stuff that occurred in the past. It is feelings, emotions, energies, circumstances, frequencies that co-created your now. So if you dwell in that, whatever that is, that paradigm, right? Of poor me, of this is not happening, of this is not manifesting, of you are just continuing on that slope of non-creation. So the reason for this life book is so you could have a head-on collision with that past mind, with that past self. So you could reconstruct yourself, your divine self, so you could live in your divinity. Perfect example is last couple of days I've been feeling sort of sluggish, a bit emotional. Things are happening, right? Life is always going to happen. And I said I was going to share this with you guys. So my mother-in-law, it's completely dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever you want to call it. We don't even know because her doctors, she's part of one of those clinics that like to keep the patients. They really don't diagnose properly because they don't care about the patients, especially when they're like elderly that they think that nobody has them. Since she chose to live by herself, she goes to the clinic by herself. Nobody takes her, so they just assume that she doesn't have family. Long story short, I called them about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, when the whole thing happened. And I said to them, listen, children and families called me that we need to take charge of my mother-in-law because she's had a couple fires in the house. She's wandering the streets. She's just not in this reality. And they're like, no, she's fine. And I was like, well, that's not what, her caseworker says. Well, long story short, fast forward to today, there's a lot responsibility. My husband had a stroke. We're still going through the changes, helping him. I'm focusing on a lot of responsibility. So on top of all of that, now I have my mother-in-law coming to stay with me. I don't know how that's going to adhere because I have a lot of work. I have my, you get used to a certain way of life. You get used to start doing things a certain way, and then change comes and everything is like, different, right? So I was feeling a bit sluggish, and I feel like that's also why I created yesterday's lesson, because we go through things in life all the time, again, as part of the past. And I felt, because I started looking at the angels tell me everything. And some of you tell me that you can't hear the angel, Rachel, you can't hear the angels. And I'm going to tell you that they're always working on your side. They're always sharing with you. The more you journal, the more you receive, the more you will understand how they work in your life. So I started noticing about 6 months ago when I first started doing it. I think it might have been in my wealth class. I don't know. It was one of the classes that we were co-creating. And I remember even saying, I don't know why this is coming up. It was moments, I think it was a wealth class, because a lot of my wealth sabotaging comes from my mother-in-law, because she kind of like put a lot of implanted, paradigms into my subconscious, because I've been with her since I was 16. I married my husband, I was 16. So a lot of that was coming up 6 months ago, and I didn't understand. I thought it was because of the blocks, right? I'm thinking those are the blocks. And Spirit's like, you have to go through this, you have to release all this, because I had all this resentment. I needed to forgive her. And even there, I have moments that I'm just like, she's coming over. I don't want this, right? So it's process. Thank you, ego. Thank you for sharing this. This is all part of the past. This is not who I am now. So it's like I have to, and like I said, and I showed this to you in the wealth class, is when you disarm those energies right there and then, you're pushing ego down. Because ego always wants to be up here. Ego wants to keep you down here. Wants to keep telling you, So I disarm it, and sometimes it comes up a couple times a day. Sometimes ego is so busy, he'll come up over and over and over a couple times a day. So I asked the angels, I actually told the angels, I said, wow, you guys were actually preparing me. And they're like, yes, we were subconsciously preparing you to do a lot of forgiveness, a lot of letting go, a lot of releasing, because you were not the Daisy of the 30s. You were not that a naive little girl that allowed everyone to just kind of like steer her boat, and you're no longer that person. So that fear is just part of the energy that has been embedded into your DNA, and we're releasing and letting go, releasing and letting go, releasing and letting go. So the more you do this, the better it is for your next plane. Because a lot of us, and I think it's so funny when people are like, this is it, and we're gonna die, and it's over. And they don't know that life keeps going, that we're infinite beings of light, always, always going. But we're also always working on ourselves, always expanding. Think about a job where you're going to get a promotion, and you just pick up levels. Same thing. Like, that's what life is. Life is about forward motion, about progress. So when you write today in the life book, you're not going to add a date, but I want you to place yourself, in yesterday's second half module, we were in September of 2024. So you could fast forward and be in 2025, 2026. So you don't have to say, well, I'm in September 2026. You don't want to put a date. And you just want your angels to guide you through your intentions and desires by looking at your life. One of these beautiful participants that just got her angels realized how creative she is and how she would love to tap into that creative side. And I haven't messaged her, but, I see creatively growing, doing things that are gonna make her happy, because that's what life does. Life pushes us to create the things that we intend and desire, and to live in our passion and our purpose. As I was telling my daughter, I was like, we need to go to Disney. It's been 3 weeks that we haven't gone to Disney. Too much is happening. I need my day. I'm meaning my day at Disney. I need to go to Fantasyland. And I noticed that when you self-indulge, when you take care of yourself, when you love yourself, when you honor yourself, even if it's the most minimalist things, you create ripples effects into your future. We're going to be talking about the language of money. That is my next class. And one of the things that I said to Spirit, I said, I want to do like a free webinar or a live or whatever, where I share something with everyone, with the audience, that will impact them in such a way that they're going to shift just from that. Not even doing my course, not even getting anything that has to do with, just from what I share with them at that moment. So our lives are full of questions. Think about yourself. I remember when I was a teacher, I had this little boy that every time would ask me a million questions. It was about, what about this, but what about that, and how does this work? And it was just so many questions, it became overwhelming. We're still that child trying to figure things out. We don't have things figured out. Nobody does. I don't have them. The great masters that I follow don't have them, because we're always learning and expanding. And if I've learned anything in my almost 50 years in this plane, is that we are always growing and learning, but we are meant to live in harmony. And the moment that you start to live in harmony, that's when you know you've done it. That's when you know that you are on your path. Because if you're still feeling off, if you're feeling a lot of resentment, if you're, if you have a moment that you're happy, but then the next 5 moments you're negative, and you're not on your path. You have to release parts of you that are not serving you. And that's going to hurt, because if it's someone that you love, if it's a job that you love, if it's a home that you love, if it's a family member, those releasings hurt when you have to let go of someone or something or somewhere where you just don't want to do. I'm still holding on to my car, which I adore, but I know I need an upgrade because my car is already having a lot of problems. So, there was a quote that I said, when is the fixing more expensive than getting the new one? And it isn't even about that, because I could just use my credit to buy a new car. It's the love, the memories, so life is gonna throw us situations so we can make the changes that we need to make in order to move forward. So today you're going to focus somewhere in the future, and you are going to write about your ideal day. I want you, and we did this yesterday we were just a year ahead, which I know we freak out because we think a year is a long time, but a year is not a long time, because I remember decorating for Halloween a week ago, and I'm decorating again for Halloween. So a year is not a long time. So you have to think about somewhere in the future. Put yourself in your ideal home, with your ideal career, with your ideal family. Just think about all the things that you intend and desire. And if you're not in a relationship right now, don't add the person. Just add the soulmate energy. I'm living with my soulmate. We love each other. It's a beautiful partnership. And add all of the energies that you want for your soulmate to be. If you're in a relationship and it's not doing so good, then add how you want that relationship to unravel. But also put yourself too, because a lot of time when I did scripting for my clients, and I just finished all the 5 scripts that I had to do, I did a couple weeks ago, talk about catch up, I will always notice that they always put on what they wanted their ideal partner to be. Oh, I want my beloved to be like this and this, and do this and this and this for me, and be this and this for me, and do this and that for me. But what about what you're doing for them? Give and take, people. Receive and give. So when I write all the things that I'm doing. I'm more of giver than I am a receiver. So for me, it's the harder. It's more of the things that I want and doing things for myself because they make me feel good. So that is my flaw. That is which comes again from childhood, which I've been working on for many, many years, and I'm still kind of working on it. And I'll probably be working on it until the day that I cross over from this plane. And that is fine. The point is that I'm working on it. The point is that every day I'm honoring myself and who I am and taking care of what I am with what I have and adding a little more and doing a little more. Like I said, you saw in the video where I kind of shared with you behind the scenes, and you saw that I run a creative business that I absolutely love, that I don't share with nobody because this is my spiritual. So you'll notice like little things when I do like paintings of the divine names, or I have the affirmation cards, which I recommend that you guys get the affirmation cards because they are powerful. Affirmation cards are great. I'm thinking of doing a workbook with them. It says sit and listen. You never know what you will hear. It might be the answer you are looking for. So the affirmation cards are really powerful, and I'm thinking about creating a workbook along with them. So when you're sitting with your life book today, before you start being the child talking to Santa and asking for everything under the sun and the moon, I want you to really think. I want you to stop. I want you to take a deep breath in and release. And repeat that 3 times, or 4, or 20, until you get in a state of serenity where you clear your mind from all the mumbo jumbo and you just only hear the birds and the music in the background or whatever you're playing, and just be still. And then ask yourself, what is it that I truly want and desire? Where do I choose to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now? And just allow yourself to stay in there. This might be 10, this might be 15, this might be 20 minutes of you just allowing. And the point of this is not to rush through this. It's for you to attain everything that you're learning. Attain everything. Soak it all in. So you could use this every day of your lives. Because I have worked with some of you, and I notice that every day you're hitting on the head on the wall of the same thing that we started months and months ago. And like I said, I'm still working. I've been working on taking care of myself for XYZ amount of years, and sometimes I feel like I got it under control, and then I do something that I'm just like, whoa, when did I stop caring? Hold on. Rewind. Let's change this. Let's change this. And those things will happen, and that's okay. But it's, if you're every day fighting against that same energy every single day, then you're not doing something right. Then you are trying to bring into your life or do something that's no longer serving you. You're trying to rewind into a space that is no longer part of your life because you have moved forward. So you have to ask yourself, when is enough enough? When am I going to place me first? You know, and my husband's like that with jobs. You know, he'll hold on to them until either, I remember one of the last jobs that he held on forever, they went bankrupt. You know, and everybody knew that things were happening. I'm like, Dave, you got to prepare. No, it's not going to happen. They love me. They will never get rid of me. They went bankrupt. Everybody had to go. So you can't always, and it's fine to think that people are taking care of you and feeling loved and loving and being passionate about your work. But when is it bringing so much? Because you were working 12, 13, 14-hour days, taking all his essence and energy, coming home in a bad mood or tired, not being able to, we would do nothing. There was no date night. There was nothing because you're too exhausted. The days that you're off, all you want to do is couch potato. So there has to be balance. You don't live to work. You work to live. That's why I'm having withdrawals, because it's been 3 weeks that I haven't self-indulged. You know how good it feels for me to go and sit with my daughter and have a drink, enjoy Starbucks, walking in Animal Kingdom, enjoying the animals, having a Harry Potter moment. Because these are things that make me happy. I'm living in my dream state. I'm living around things that make me ultimately feel good about myself, that people wish, you know, that they could do all the time. And I have this at my fingertips every single day. So when are we living in that beautiful paradigm of co-creating the universe that we intend and desire? And when we're not, we have to fix things. You know, like with me, when Spirit told me, what's your worth? And like I said to my beautiful client, which I think is so funny because she's talking about creativity, and I share with you all the time, I'm responsible for myself. I'm only responsible for myself. I'm not responsible for anybody else. If I choose to help someone else, it's because I want to, not because I'm responsible for it. And that's a big, big thing for me, because so many of you guys come to me with a lot of your burdens, and I feel responsible. I feel like I have to just take everybody out of the ocean and just give them that hand. And it sometimes is overbearing, because then I'm taking my time, because I'm there for you, because you're like, you know. So love yourself, honor yourself, do for yourself, then expand to others, then give. And that's why I love art, because art is such a receptive, creative endeavor. When someone purchases a piece of your art, they're so grateful. I mean, give or take, you're going to have people that complain here or there. But most of the time, when people take a piece of your art, of your work, they just absolutely love it. And they're like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Why do I love my oils? Why do I love creating my oils? Because I know that not only are they helping the individual that purchased them, but they're so grateful for the help, because when they open the package, they feel all of that energy. And it's wonderful, wonderful in co-creating that magic. Sit, breathe, and write. Write as if it's already occurring. Write as you're adding an entry about your ideal week in the future, but in present tense. You can say, I've had the most extraordinary week. So many magical things have occurred. I'm so excited because I'm in my best job. I'm receiving X amount of pay. I have X amount of clients. Or I just got a promotion. Or I quit my job and now I'm working from my creative and I'm making more money than I did in my 9 to 5. Think about all the things that you want to co-create. Because everything that you are doing on every second of your day is co-creating the future. So if you don't have time to create, then your future is always going to be up in smoke. Then ego is running you. Can you grasp that? Ego's creating your life. Because ego's the one that's always telling you that you're not good enough, that money's never going to come to you, always feeding you the lies. Always there feeding you lies after lie after lie after lie. And sometimes it's not even from within you. Sometimes it's by your loved ones telling you, don't do this and don't do that. I was talking to a beautiful participant and we were talking about the energy of money. And in the language of money class, one of the things that I heard, and it's super funny because she said, no, because I've been spending money. And it's super, super funny. And I don't have it in front of me. But as a matter of fact, let me go grab it so I can read it to you. Okay, so this was September 9th. And it's super crazy because 9/9 was a major shift portal. That's when I did all my new altars for my altar clients. And I had a couple of 9/9 rituals that I did for clients. The next one will be on 10/10. So I wrote, today, about 30 minutes ago, I was in my room and money showed up. She asked me how much I needed. I said, and then I this is my conversation with money. And for those of you that took my wealth class, you know I do this because I taught it to you. Then I said, I have learned that there is a way to speak to money, to respect and to work with her, but I also sense that you must believe in money, have faith in money, and be careful how you address money. Reverend Ike said, we must be careful what we say to money and how we address money. We do not say spend because it is like lack of respect. So we are spending money for her not to return. When you say spend, you're meaning paying out, meaning releasing and letting go. If you look up on Google the definition to spending, they don't give you a definition. They literally say spending money. That's the definition. Spending means spending money. They don't give you a concrete definition. But I've looked it up further, and spending means releasing and not returning. If you are spending something, you are spending time. You're giving away that time. You're never going to get that time back. Do you understand? So think about the energy of spending, letting go, never to return. Instead, we say, thank you, money, for purchasing these things for me. I look forward to your return tenfold. It is like I'm sharing money and she is multiplying and coming around with so much more. So a lot of the times when people spend money, they do it in gratitude. Louise Hay says that when she would pay her bills, she would get giddy. Do you guys get giddy about paying your bills? I get giddy about paying my bills. When I am paying my electricity bill, yes, I had a moment when my next bill is $400, and I talked to you about that. But I get excited because I feel good that I have the money to pay those bills. So I'm living in my beautiful home. I have electricity. I have internet. I have all of the subscriptions that I love to watch my Hallmarks and whatever. So I'm very grateful for the things that money helps me achieve and attain. So I don't want to spend money. I want to recycle for money to return. So when you're paying a bill, I'm so grateful that I'm paying this bill. And I look forward for this money to return tenfold. So I'm paying for something, but I'm returning because money is given and received. Think about it. Think about it. Money is exchangeable. Just like you pay me for my services, right? I'm extending my time and you're extending your money to me. It's an exchange. Just like I then extend my money that you pay me to pay for services, to put right back into my business. So we are exchanging so money can return. We're not spending it not to return. We're simply almost like a barter, like a trade, right? So in the wealth class, we talked about the energy of money. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. My plants, I talk to them. They know that I want better oxygen in my home. So they cleanse and clear all the toxins, all the carbon monoxide, so we could breathe fresher air. That's why it's so good to be out in nature. It's so good to connect with a tree to transmute negative energy into positive energy. So then as I'm doing this, I said today I had a vision on my next class, Money Mindset Reality Shift Idea. I created a YouTube playlist titled Money Research. I saw myself creating an audio ritual meditation to learn the language of money. That is a gratitude money course to learn the language of money. I can see through workbook class, audio rituals, fully complete before lunch. And I was shown the price, the payment plans, the working with my clients, participants, so they all are able to join this class. Money language and change from where I am to where I desire. I love that money is helping me do this so I can help others do the same. Thank you, money, for teaching me so much. I'm excited to see how I learn and how I can share this wisdom with everyone. So one of the things that occurred was that was around the time that I paid Sarah from Rich Witch, and I did. I paid her $10, and then she sent me the email, which I shared with you, and then right after that, I sent her 20 more as a gratitude because she gave me so much insight. She shared with me what I already knew, but sometimes we have to hear it from someone else, and I printed it out, and it's in my life book. I printed it out and it's in my life book because this is my favorite part. Things to avoid. The following slows results. Telling the old story. Anything that contradicts what you want to accomplish. Anything that contradicts what you want to accomplish. It is all language. And I've been studying the energy of language with magical words. Those books are all available on Amazon. You can more than purchase them. Everything is what you say and what you speak. And sometimes some of you, and you probably know who you are, but there's a few of you in this class. They'll ask me, and I do readings for them, and Spirit answers as much as they can through the readings and whatever. But then they're always asking the same question. But I'm getting this result. But this is going to happen. So if you guys know about Abdullah, one never went to Abdullah. Abdullah, I've said the story a million times. I will never get tired of repeating the story. I've listened to this video hundreds and hundreds of times. And every time I hear something new, it's such an empowering video. So when Neville went to Abdullah, Neville wanted to go to Barbados. He had no fucking money. It was a Great Depression. He was really going through it. And Abdullah says, you are in Barbados. You went to Barbados. You went to Barbados in first class. So see yourself in Barbados. Tonight, when you go to sleep, you are in Barbados. So in the course of the few weeks, Neville got needy because he's like, nothing's happened. Hence, you guys. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's not going to happen because nothing's happened and I don't see anything and I can't hear anything and I can't. You go through it, right? I know because I go through it. And then Abdullah, Neville went to Abdullah. Hey, Abdullah. Hey, Abe. He calls him Abe. Hey, Abe. You know, it's been a couple of weeks and I've been doing exactly what you said. Nothing's happening. And Abdullah got pissed and slammed the door in his face. And he's like, do you believe this guy? I just want inspiration. Hence, you're becoming needy. You're becoming addicted to the vibration of somebody telling you, here's the candy, here's the candy, here's the candy. Instead, you have to self-indulge. You have to self-indulge. You have to stop telling the old story. You have to stop contradicting what you want to accomplish. If I want to, like she said, from now on, you are already a successful businesswoman. Carry yourself like her. Dress like her. Dress like her. Be her. Do the things that she would do. So you do the things as if it has already occurred. But you have to stop saying the old story, even when you message me. Because we already, I get it when my client comes to me at first, hey Daisy, I'm going through this is happening, how to get out of it. I do all of this ritual and spell work, sometimes my spells are 15. I have altars. Sometimes people work me for 6 months and a year before they accomplish, because it's like big accomplishment, big manifestations, right? So you have to allow the energies behind the scene to work on your behalf. You never know. Beatrix Potter says something delicious about writing the first words of a book is you never know where they're going to lead. Beatrix Potter, look at her story. She had a lot. Her mother was horrible. Horrid. Her father was wonderful. But she would listen because she respected her mother and she did everything and her mother said, and she lost her best friend. Her first real true love lost him. And guess what? Right after that, she decided, I'm responsible for my life. I'm not responsible for anybody else's life. If I decide to do something for somebody else, it's because I want to, not because I'm responsible for it. And she packed her shit and left and moved and she went to live in her ideal place. Today, you could visit Beatrix Potter's lands. They're in a non-profit. They're being taken care of. So people do not purchase that land because it's like a sanctuary. It's non-touched, always and forever will be. She put all that into place. Today, her books are still selling, so her lands are forever to be untouched because the royalties are always, 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 always going. Not to mention that in her day and age, women didn't do the things that she did. She went to publisher after publisher and they all made fun of her. But you know what happened? One publisher took her as a joke to his brother. We gotta watch that story. It is incredible. So no longer feeling sorry for yourself, no longer contradicting your story. If you want to live a successful life, you'll have to talk about the successful life. You're gonna have your moments, I understand. And don't get me wrong, okay? And this is why I say it over and over. This is why my videos are an hour long, because retaining all of this knowledge and wisdom, it's something that you have to do repeatedly. You have to do repeatedly. Like, example, I know that I have to script for my mom and I have to do the things for her. And then when I talk to her, I have to shift the conversations to try to get her out of that victim energy. And every time I call her, I have to do this over and over and over because she has that mindset and ego has swallowed her up. She's in a shell of ego. So as a loving daughter, as a caring daughter, my goal is to try to, at least that moment that we're having a conversation, she feels less victim. So then I'll like joke about things, or I'll bring up other things, or I'll start talking about creativity because my mom is very creative, you know. And when she starts to fall into that, like now she's visiting an old friend and she talks more about the fun and the nostalgia and the memory. So she's excited and a little sad because, you know, you look at, you know, how time flies, and but then it also brings her happiness because they talk about that and they can. So focusing on that love, on that energy, on that vibration. It is okay for you to have a moment, especially with all these shifts. We're going from portal to portal to portal in 2023 because of the changes that are coming into our life to push us into our next chapter to create the best lifetime. But if through all of these energies you keep holding on to what is not here, this is not here, this is not here, this is not happening, it's not here, and you're not focusing on what is, and you're not grateful for what is, because even though you have all of this wonderful stuff, you're still like, yeah, but I don't have this. But I don't have this. But I don't have this. That's what you're creating. That's what you're creating. You keep creating what you don't have over and over and over. Because you're saying you don't have it. It's not here. I don't think it's going to come. I don't think it's going to come, Daisy. I don't think it's going to show up. Oh my God, Daisy, I don't know what to do. Can you talk to me, Daisy? Because it's not coming. I don't know what to do. I'm Abdullah. I'm shutting the door. I'm shutting the door. Because I can't keep catering to your inspiration, daily inspiration, daily inspiration. You have to inspire yourself. You understand? You have to inspire yourself. Either that or pay for my on-call services. And then we'll get on the phone and knock some of that shit out of you. Let's do it. Tell them, my fairy goddaughter. Tell them how we knocked that shit out of the park. So, telling the old story, criticizing yourself or money or clients or Etsy or business, just that criticism. And even now I just criticize a bunch of shit. But I'm trying to share. Because of course I'm going to talk about my clients because it's my work, right? Of course I'm going to talk about my husband because it's my life, or my mom because it's my experiences, and those are the experiences that I have in order to share. You know, I also tell the stories of some of my clients because those are the experiences that I have in order to share. And I can't give you details because that goes against everything. That's unethical, one. And sometimes there's stories I can't even tell you because you're going to know who the person is because they're on the news all the fucking time. So it's like standing up for yourself, loving yourself, placing yourself in a place where you want to be placed. And if something is not there yet, when ego tells you, hey Sally, I know you've been wanting that job at UPS, but you know what, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get that job, Sally. Ha ha ha, you're not going to get that job. I know you've been trying, but you're not going to get that job. I know because they did that to my husband. My husband really wanted this job, and he literally broke down because he didn't get it. So I had to do my witchy, not tell him anything, redo the application until the moment of, hey, you got an interview. And I'm like, okay, now we're going to breathe through this. Okay. We're not going to hold on to, we're going to surrender the process. We're going to allow the process. We're not going to cry about it not happening or the 20 million reasons it's not going to happen. We're not going to do that. I would not allow him to do that. Every time he would be like, oh my God, babe, I'm getting too excited. I'll be like, breathe, let's go, let's breathe. And that's the best remedy for everything is breathing. And you're going through that headspace of, is that going to happen? Is that? Breathe. And like I said, I had this last couple of days. I felt a little bit, you know, and I know it's because my husband's going through his stuff as an empath. You know, I was talking to one of my oldest clients that we're working together again. And she was like, Daisy, you're like, you know, I go, yeah, it's the older I get, the more sensitive I get. You know, and now I really, like, I go to places, and if there's too many people, I gotta leave and come back because I can't handle it. I can't handle all of the energies. It's just very overwhelming. And why? It's because all I do is meditate, and all I do is attain that deep spiritual energy so I can feel all the frequencies. That's why I feel. So when you guys, some of you guys, that you become like attached and stuff, and you know, I'm working with you, and when I start having dreams, I have to detach myself. I have to call Archangel Michael to cut cords, because I become so into that energy. Think about you at work. Like, my daughter goes through that all the time with people at work, because a situation. So she starts thinking about them or feeling that. She goes home and she's like, why am I thinking about this person? My son told me that about someone that he didn't like, that he kind of separated from his life. He's like, do you believe this? I had this dream with this person. Why does this show up? And I was like, because you need to cut. You need to release, forgive the situation. Let's talk about it. And I go through him. Let's talk about it. What was your dream? How did it make you feel? And then we address everything, to the point that he comes out of it and he's like, whoa, this is awesome. This feels good. Because you're like, okay, you worked it out. So before you sit down with your life book, this is why all of this is coming out. This is why my videos are an hour long. Because I want you to get to a place that when you sit with your life book, it's just you and the life book. Think about being transported into the cosmic reality, into the Tali that we did. And you could do that meditation over and over and over. Think about being in that cosmic reality where it's just you and your Akashic records, co-creating the life that you desire. So sometimes I did how many Kickstarters that have not panned out? That does not mean I'm giving up. That simply means that I'm a step closer to having the Kickstarter that's really going to push my books and my work. And, even doing webinars. Sometimes only 1 or 2 people show up. But I always get leads. I always get new clients that find me here or there because they find me. Because I always hold that faith, that belief that it's going to happen. Always hold to that energy. And sometimes I need people like Sarah Jordan to send me my emails that are going to zap me right back, just like I do it to you. You'll send me a message, Daisy, this is happening, and I'll send you an email back. Wait, let's do this. No. You guys, my fairy goddaughter, she went through something. I was like, let's do it. I got it. Get my black candle. We got this. She messaged me back later. So, no. I was just having a moment. I'm good. I'm hands-on. I sniffed it in the butt. But then you surrender and you reassess. There's times where if everything is overwhelming me because of XYZ, sometimes I have to be like, you know what? I'm gonna make me a margarita. I'm gonna pop some Hallmark, and tomorrow, with a new mind, I will look at it face on. I will focus on it. And that's how it is. These classes take a lot of time and energy, because I know that I give so much, and I want you to expand so much and learn so much. And get in a place where you're just co-creating, where you take these lessons, and the cool thing is that you could repeat this as many times as you want. Rachel was telling me, Daisy, I popped you. You're like my podcast. My fairy goddaughter tells me that all the time. Sometimes I just go to sleep listening to the stuff that you say, because I always gather something new. And all of you guys tell me that you always got, and I'm the same way. I listen to it because you gotta understand, as I'm talking, the reason is so much is because spirit is just like downloading. It's just like my experiences, they talk through me. I mean, if when I would listen to what spirit said to you all, and I wrote some of the stuff down, I'm like, holy shit, like spirit was answering your questions before you were asking them. I'm just like omnipresent, full on, no time, infinite. Like, that is realization at its point. It's crazy. So sit down when you are ready to write present tense, but your future. And I'm gonna have fun doing this, and as soon as I close with you, that's what I'm gonna be doing, because I'm in my zone. Because whatever I was feeling yesterday and the day before, I addressed it, because I saw it was not part of me. I saw that it wasn't actually what I was going through. It was what other people around me were, my husband, my mother-in-law, what they were going through. And I was just picking on that energy. And sometimes that's what it is. It's not even you. It's you're picking up a co-worker's frequency, or your spouse's frequency, or your family's frequency. So sometimes their fears interfere with your manifestations. So you have to understand, and sometimes it might take a few days. Sometimes you might need reminders. This is why readings are so good. Like having a reading every month or every 2 or 3 months, just to get like what's going on. I'm not saying every week. You know, I have clients that like to do readings over and over and over, and I'm like, it's not gonna change. You gotta give it time for give it a moon cycle at least, you know, to get grasp new things. Let's sit with your life book today. Allow. See what comes. Namaste.